Welcome, masses. Welcome back to One Name Sports. Today, this is a topic that I will say was one of the major inspirations to starting this channel, and it's a Jamaican player that has the potential to be one of the world's best, but I feel like he's wasting away his talent, and that is the one and only Leon Bailey. A couple issues we'll go over, and what was the state of the team, the state of him, and how he ended up in the position that he's in, and why he is kind of conflicted, and how I think he can go back or step to the next level. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, so Liam Bailey and his father or stepfather cut their own path, left Jamaica, went to Europe, did a couple struggle leagues and trials, eventually made their way to Genk. He made a tremendous impression on the Europa League and earned a big money move to Bayer Leverkusen. In the midst of that, or since he's been there was a little international saga, well, national saga of him not wanting to play for Jamaica. There was some politics with his dad and the Jamaica Football Federation. And in the midst of that, he's starting to play for England and all of these things that weren't achievable. But eventually, he came to Jamaica. Now, there's going to be a little bit of salt with him, going through that. As a Jamaican person, just suiting up for the country is just one of the greatest honors. I understand that we don't have the best facilities, the best coaching, the most money to spend, but it's Jamaica. We love football, and that's where he got his love from. But again, he's there now. We're gonna talk about what's going on with him at Bayern. So he earned his move from Genk to Leverkusen. Had a couple of different suitors at the time. When he went over to Germany, the typical things are gonna hit you. Language barrier, new environment, big team, bigger expectations, and that first 6 months they were kind of terrible. He didn't score, didn't really make a big impact, and they had what's his name, Julian Brandt, kind of running the show, so wasn't ready. The second season was when he started to break out. I think in terms of his production, it was his best season. Or I could say it's his first full season, but that was his best season. He kind of started to overshadow Julian Brandt at that time. That's when he had earned the Player of the Month for his performances against Bayern. He was, at that time, that's when I feel like the big crossroads happened. That's when his head got kind of turned. At that point, he started getting rumors from Chelsea, Arsenal. All these teams want to pick him up. Bayern Munich said they want to pick him up in order for him to come over to them and take Robin or Ribery's spot. He's the new Robin they were talking about. All these things kind of turned his head. And then I feel like right after that, that's when, he hasn't been back to that level since. Maybe it was the organization, but from then and then the season after, it was Brandt's show. Julian Brandt came back. I think he had an injury around that time, if I remember correctly. And Julian Brandt kind of, starts getting more game time, starts getting pushed a little bit more forward. And then there's this little 18, 19-year-old that's coming out of the academy, getting more game, named Kai Havertz. So says, so done. After the great first full season, I think he had 12 goals in all competitions. Then the next season comes, Brandt leaves and goes to Dortmund. Now the team is turned over to Kai Havertz when it was kind of supposed to be Leon Bailey. Again, more politics there. A big German team in a German country is always going to push German talent because unlike a lot of other countries, they want those players to succeed on the national level. Havertz comes up, they buy Diaby, and Bailey gets a little niggling injury. And he's just cast aside. Even when he comes back, he's only getting game in the Europa League. At league games, he's either not on the bench or they're playing Bellarabi. They're playing Kai as a false nine. The whole way that they played before has changed. They were playing kind of a 4-3-3 when Brandt was there. Now with Havertz, they're playing almost a 4-5-1. The entire team just kind of changed, and Bailey got pushed to the wayside. Now, currently, Havertz just left. Just got his big money move to Chelsea. And again, there's a vacant hole there as the talisman for Bayer Leverkusen. Volland has also left. So that was one of their main attackers. They have a couple still left right there. But here's the problem. The next German wonder kid coming up is a winger this time. His name is Wirtz. Really good player. I saw a couple highlights. He's really young too. I think he's 17 or 18. Bailey has a chance now in order to get back to that form he was in to win Player of the Month for Bayern. He can take over as the focal point for one of the top teams in Europe. He wants to leave. I know, being Jamaican, being in Germany, you don't really have that language thing. You don't really see too many black people or the culture. A lot of that is in England. I know Leeds want him. But to go from Bayer Leverkusen, that was playing in Champions League, barely missed out this season or last season, and now we're playing in Europa League, to go to a newly promoted Leeds just because you want to be in that culture, I wouldn't do it. I think this season is your do or die season. If you can prove that, just hit all the stats, get 10 goals, get 12 assists, get back to that confident skill move Leon Bailey that we saw putting highlights on the Bundesliga YouTube channel. If you can get that for this year and you become that talisman for Leverkusen, not only will your stock go up, but it wouldn't be Leeds that would be looking at you. It'd be back to Man U's and Arsenal's and some of those bigger teams where you can get Champions League football, because trust and believe, Jamaica needs that talisman. We need you at the top level. The spotlight being on you will improve all of the scouting, all of the recruitment from Jamaica going forward. We have moves for McGee, for Shamar Nicholson, for anybody else, Amar Topi, all those guys coming up out of Jamaica will get a different look now. And you're saying, oh, we don't want to miss out on the next Bailey. You know, we want to have a scouting network set up where we can have these players on trial and have them playing and have them in the youth system. And it will just build up the entire JFF to the level where you're used to the level that you didn't want to lose in order to come play for Jamaica. The next thing too, with you at the top level, it also will make it easier on you to maintain that level when it comes to Jamaica qualified. Because again, trust and believe, all eyes are on you. I don't business if we have bamboo huts that you're playing. These African players, they have been able to go back to their countries and lead them to World Cups, to regional cup finals. You have to do it for Jamaica. At this point, USA is at their weakest. You were actually tied in talent and hype with Pulisic. Pulisic made his move to Chelsea and you fell off the wayside. And Sancho now has moved up way beyond you. But guess what? You have a chance to redeem this season. It's your do-or-die season. Stay at Leverkusen. Get the best stat return. Find some way to get through to your coach. Get that game time. Get back on your top form. Stop partying with Usain Bolt. And take us through to qualifying. And we should be able to make the World Cup. Let me tell you something. If you, Leon Bailey, buckle down for the next 3-4 years and take Jamaica to the World Cup, you will get a statue in Hero Circle. Best believe. But it's on you to do that. We have a nice group of young players right now, all those under 17 and under 19 players, led by McGee and them. If you can just be the leader, the focal point, the lightning pole per se, who's to say where we can go? And it's the best thing for your career. If any Jamaicans or anybody else has any alternate opinions or feel like there's a better path for him, maybe going to England and trying to start over there, if you feel that's better, let me know your thoughts down below. Again, thank you. Like, subscribe, and share. This is One Name Sports.